Hey everyone, it's Christian, and on today's video, in-invite kong good friend ko na si Paul Farol, who is a media practitioner over the last 2 decades. And he specializes and is very knowledgeable with a lot of things that is related to the government, politics, current events. I invited him today to talk about the case of Christine Dacera and get some more insight on what's going on with that case. Hey Paul, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Just finished the holidays. Medyo spare, but pretty good.
Yeah, that's good. Wow, I know we started the year with another controversial issue.
Yeah, hindi pa tapos ang first week natin. Oo, oo.
So Paul,
Yeah.
the reason I invited you here today is because I wanted to get some insight from you because you were one of the first people to actually talk about the case of Christine Dacera.
It was slow going when I started nung January 2 because I actually contacted friends in media and told them about it and nobody was paying attention. I was thinking maybe it was because typically people in the news take January 1 and 2 and 3 off usually. And no one's really manning the desks or shuttling out assignments. And it was Sunday yata when I learned about this story.
Mm-hmm.
The first details were kind of sketchy. Uh, May common friend kasi kami nung mother ni Christine Dacera. And that person contacted me and asked me if I could help out. And kasi tong mother taga General Santos. So wala masyadong kilalang mga powers that be raw dito. So medyo naawa ko. Sabi ko kawawa naman kung ganun. So her daughter was here, tapos she was still on her way over here. So I was thinking by the time she arrives here, baka hindi pa storya and people needed to know about what happened. Yun.
Okay. Okay, so sige, let's
So
fast
yeah.
forward. Let's fast forward to where we are now. So media is all over it, the
Mm.
police are all over it. I want to ask you some things right now. So the PNP declared that it or has already solved the case. What's your take on that?
It's far from solved because from the very start, na-model na yung evidence, na-model na yung investigation.
Okay.
Yung contention ng grupo that's helping out with Sharon Dacera, the mother, is that the police bungled the job.
Yep.
They I think they took hours to preserve the crime scene.
Right.
They certainly didn't preserve Christine's body in
Mm-hmm.
the state it was found in. And on top of that, tong medical legal yata had the body embalmed first before he examined it.
Right.
So, gaya nga sabi ni Dr. Raquel Fortun, embalming makes it difficult, if not impossible, to do a toxicology report.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, apart from Dr. Fortun saying na the aortic aneurysm in the report, medyo duda siya doon kasi that takes years to develop before it ruptures.
Right.
And in a young girl, a healthy 23-year-old girl like Christine, it seems unlikely na mangyari ka agad yon all in one fell swoop.
Okay.
Mm.
But the implication here is that I think naman at this point, I think it's an open secret at this point, isn't it? That an aneurysm like that can be caused by something like a drug overdose,
It can.
depending on the type of drugs you're taking.
Well, hindi ako expert, no, but I've read up on it. I've looked at some of the literature. It seems na kung madalas kang gumamit ng stuff like cocaine, Viagra, Cialis, even party drugs like MDMA or ecstasy
Right.
or amphetamines, it can cause an aortic aneurysm. But you'd have to be a pretty hard user for quite some time.
Right. Or just an overdose. Literally just taking too much at one
Yeah,
time. This is
yeah.
yeah.
But,
Uh-huh.
I've looked at the overdose symptoms of other drugs. Another one of them is GHB.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the words, what it stands for, but the drug basically, if you take just enough, you get euphoric high and you get very horny. Okay. And if you take too much, that can cause you to go into a coma and it could kill you.
Right.
Basically, stops your heart.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So here's a couple of things that I want to ask you. No, because I think your view is that this was intentionally done. It,
Uh, I have a problem with that because ano yan eh, yung sinasabi ng mga friends ko is that wala pa yung evidence.
yep.
Di ba? Wala pang evidence na, especially walang toxicology report, so there's really nothing to base on.
Uh-huh.
But what I can tell you is that itong GHB, it's a pretty common party drug. It's going around. It's been going around the UK and I think it's reached here. Ang ang paggamit niyan is that they use it on the victim to loosen them up, make them horny, and then to make them forget. Medyo yung overdose nila
Mm-hmm.
up to the point of coma.
Yep.
And when that happens, nagkaka-amnesia yung victim.
Okay. So what yeah, so
yeah.
what are you saying? You believe, do you because I mean there are a lot of opinions on this. There are some that are now saying that, especially the police are insisting that this was a murder and a rape. So I want to tackle first the angle of murder. What's your take on it? Do you believe it's murder or no?
No, I think the third side, as in, it could be accidental killing or it can be,
Right.
di ba?
Yeah.
Uh, it's pretty hard to establish that with the evidence that we have right now.
Yes.
But kung suspicious sa papag-usapan natin, yes, if you find a girl who's pretty healthy, was pretty healthy at 12 midnight, New Year, and just a few hours later, she's dead.
Yep.
Diba? Then the first thing you see when you see her body are the bruises.
Mm-hmm.
No? And meron pang sabi-sabi dyan na meron daw nagli-leak from her private parts.
Mm-hmm.
So, if to an untrained eye, or a grieving mother in this case, magmumukha na merong ginawa doon sa anak niya.
Yeah.
No? And whatever that was, it resulted in her death. And, she was leaking in her private parts. So,
Right.
di ba?
To an untrained eye.
Yeah, to an untrained
Right.
eye. But si Dr. Raquel Fortun, sabi niya, the bruises were superficial, so it couldn't be, sabi niya, you have to look at the totality of evidence before you can say na, yes, indeed, it's rape. Pero the bruises didn't seem typical for a rape victim.
Right.
Parang ganun ang
May I
sinasabi
just
niya.
sorry Paul, I don't mean to interrupt. Let's just go back muna to the murder part and then I'll go back to the rape. So just to conclude lang, you don't believe it's murder, you believe it's a homicide.
Yes.
Okay.
So far.
All right. So is it a homicide ba in that case if there are a bunch of friends, they all did drugs at night because they're partying, it's New Year's Eve, everyone's having a good time. Somebody goes, Tara, let's do some drugs. And then they all got high. And what they didn't realize is she probably took one too much. And she was totally out. And then poof, she died.
If she knew she was taking drugs, it might not be homicide. It may be a case wherein she just took too much and she OD'd.
Yeah. And
killed herself.
yeah, because if you look at the video, especially with the timestamps in it, you could see how her psychological state was changing as the hours grew, as the hours moved forward. And as it got earlier into the morning, I noticed that wala na, hanggang yung sabog na siya na binubuhat na lang siya, and she was barely in the right state of mind. I don't ang takot ko lang kasi the way the police are right now, they're immediately focusing on murder, rape, and the way they're talking about hunting down the suspects and then saying,
Oo.
sige, manlaban kayo, alam natin kung saan aabutan yung mga yan. Yung mga ganon. That's kind of scary, isn't it?
Yeah. Pero, eto um, what probably triggered them into that mode? I'm not defending the police. I'm not saying that what they're doing isn't overblown, no? But if you take into consideration na nabadal nga yung investigation.
Mhm.
First, yung body ni Christine, and
Yep.
then nawala yung dalawang people of interest
Yep.
in the case. Initially, there were 5, and then nawala yung dalawa because merong abogado, you know. They wouldn't. I think if if the body of if the evidence wasn't muddled, and if the people who brought Christy to the hospital were present for the questioning, I don't think magiging ganun ang reaction itong mga to eh.
But it doesn't justify the reaction, correct? The PNP's reaction. They're doing it for PR purposes, wouldn't you say? To save face.
Which one? Yung police?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I can't imagine, like, but it's very dangerous, the way they're phrasing it and using those kinds of scare tactics to try to make themselves look good.
Well, I don't agree with General Sina's statement that the case is closed. No.
Yeah,
Kasi how can you close a case? Hindi ka ma-determine kung ano talaga pumatay dun sa babae.
exactly. You don't even know who. If you're assuming, you're saying there's a rape, but you don't even know who. You're assuming there's a murder, but you don't even know who. So it's not case closed.
Yeah.
Farthest from it. It really looks bad on the PNP, you know, that just how the PNP really conducts themselves, doesn't it?
It looks bad because of the way they investigated the case.
Yep.
And syempre, merong rumors dyan na somebody was paid off for this because ang sabi nila is bakit ganun yung medical legal report, first and foremost. Bakit ang tagal dumating ng SOCO?
Yeah.
Diba? And there are so many other questions in the investigation which tend to indicate na, hey, somebody's fudging this up, diba?
Okay,
For
sige.
why? For what, diba?
Right. Okay. Sige, here's let's go to the question of rape right now, because at least we've discussed the angle of murder, and I just wanted to clarify it because there are the people nga that are saying that are crying for justice and patayin yung mga gumawa nito and all of that, and the mob rule is starting to, you know, out of emotion, you know, wanting blood, and that's actually pretty scary. But it's good to know that at least you're still level-headed about it and at least understanding really what's happening. I wonder, regarding the issue of rape, do you believe there was rape?
Kung evidence sa papag-usapan natin, medical legal report, walang basihan eh.
Right.
Walang basihan.
Kasi having sperm in the private part could just be consensual sex, couldn't it?
It could.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the people who were there haven't been questioned.
Yeah.
And the people who surfaced deny anything went wrong.
Yeah. I think kasi naman
Parang,
the people that surfaced, correct me if I'm wrong, ano, these are the friends that she went in to the hotel with. The four of them, parang ganun, di ba?
yeah, I think it was 4 of them.
Right. And they all stayed in one room, right? Those guys.
Yeah. Parang they switched between 2 rooms eh.
Yeah, the other room,
yeah.
they didn't know who those people were. They weren't really that familiar with them. Now, Ana, would you say, tell me if what do you think of my my theory? Would it be more plausible na Christine maybe may nataypan sa kabilang room kasi you saw naman that like in that state you're a little bit, you know, excited, having fun and feeling high. She possibly went to the other room and just had sex with one of the guys there. Would that be possible?
I don't know how many people were in the room. I don't know if it was possible to have sex there. We don't really know what happened in the room, but we know what happened afterwards.
Right. Kasi when I looked at the videos, parang she went back to the room around 4 o'clock and then 4 a.m. and then her friend picked her up at about 6 a.m. And she
Mhm.
was still she was, you could tell she was like on something. And then they went back to the room na, and then 6 a.m. And then they woke up the next day na, and that's when they realized Christine wasn't responsive, although still alive, apparently, but unresponsive. And then that's when they,
Well, yun yung ano, yun yung istorya nila. Nobody knows what happened from 6:23 to 12 noon except what they say,
yeah, absolutely.
'di ba? So, it's really possible that no, I'm not saying this is the case, no.
Of course,
It's also possible that Christine could have been dead for hours before they actually called anyone up,
sure. But
'di ba?
I think kasi when ako lang when you party until and I say party, I mean like a clean fun, a party. Basta when you're having a good time and you're out with your friends, 6 a.m. you go to bed, you're not gonna be up at least by at least 9, 10, 11, diba? You need sleep. So is it possible that they picked her up at about 6 kasi nga they were worried about her, they brought her back, and then oh shit,
Yeah.
sumusuka pa to or whatever, o tulog ka na lang sa bathtub, which mukhang nakahanda eh. Baka may mga parang nilagyan pa ng tulugan and everything. And then she slept,
Mm.
and then they woke up, and then they realized, oh my God, wait, Christine, wake up. And she wasn't waking up. Is that plausible?
Okay. Okay. So we have very close friends of hers. Ang tawag sa kanya nung isa is younger sister, baby
Hmm.
sister. Okay. Si baby sister comes back to the room, says na, hey, somebody might have slipped me a drink. What did that what did that person do? The person said, wala yan.
Yeah.
And he went back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's one.
Yep.
Uh, Second thing that happened was there was a nurse na kasama niya dun sa room. One
Right.
of her friends was a nurse. No?
Okay.
Sumusuka siya na sumusuka.
Mm-hmm.
Ako, we've all been drunk. We've all had too much to drink. No? And we've also had that bouts of vomiting. No? Usually, when you vomit once, wala na yan, okay na yan because you've already expelled the toxin.
Okay.
Diba? Okay. But Christine had been vomiting for hours,
Okay.
according to them.
Uh-huh.
No? Hindi man lamang nag-occur dun sa nurse, so-called nurse na yon na, hey, baka this might not be just her being drunk.
Right.
She may have alcohol poisoning for one,
Right.
no, which is quite probable, no.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should alert the clinic of this hotel. Maybe they can help us, or maybe we could bring her to the hospital.
Okay. So okay.
That's
Uh-huh.
fairly reasonable na pwede mong gawin kung nurse ka, di ba?
Right. And is it
Hindi yung ginawa.
right? Is it fairly reasonable na you're out partying, you yourself are intoxicated with alcohol and maybe something else? We don't want to insinuate without evidence, but most likely you're probably on something and you're not in the right state of mind as well. Is that possible?
If you're drunk out of your mind,
Yep.
ang galing naman ang recollection nila because I've been drunk out of my mind. I couldn't even recall what happened during the last few hours.
Right.
Until,
Yeah. Most of the
So,
time naman,
all of this, yung test, yung ginawa nilang media press con, sa akin, was 90% self-serving and about 10% truth-telling, pinning the blame on somebody in the other room. Parang wala silang responsibility dito.
right. Pinning the blame in what sense?
Yeah.
Pinning the blame on the possible rape or possible murder that you're saying? Let's not use the word.
Somebody named.
Yeah, let's not use the word murder, I guess. Diba? Let's use the word homicide. O, sige, go.
Okay. So, they mentioned a guy by the name of Mark Anthony Rosales. I don't know if it's a relation to Valentino Rosales, no? But, they mentioned that guy and marami lumalabas sa social media ngayon na pointing to the guys in 227. They should, investigate those guys. Pero yun nga, tinatanong ko kung baby sister nila talaga to, they should have been with her all the time that at least i-chaperone mo with these people you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
For partying with your baby sister. I just can't imagine it na hindi nila ginawa yun. I mean, kung baby sister nila talaga yun.
Yeah. I think naman just to be fair to everyone involved, kasi the way I see it, when you're drunk out of your mind or whatever, sometimes you're really just having fun and you go, oh nga pala, nasaan na si gano'n? And then, yung ganun lang. And parang they felt safe with the other party, the other people in the other room. So parang, okay. And they kept going in and out naman. So it's kind of hard not to say that, was it their fault that this happened to Christine, or maybe yun na nga, they had lapses, unintentional? Or are you saying, Paul, that you believe this was intentional in every
I can
aspect?
I can't I can't say that it was intentional. I'm just saying they all said that this is their baby sister, and all of the other things that happened are inconsistent with that.
But okay, regardless,
So
regardless,
parang may deception involved eh.
do
So
you,
may decept
would you
yeah.
think it's deception, or do you believe it's more self-preservation on their part? Kasi natatakot yung mga yun eh, obviously, right? Obviously, they're not gonna,
If you lie,
yeah, they're not gonna
if you're
say.
trying to save your ass, if you're trying to save your ass and you lie or don't tell the complete truth, that's deception.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're not telling the complete truth. Oh, I know. Sorry, let me rephrase that. I believe they're not telling the complete truth just because they are worried that it could incriminate them when it comes to the case of drugs. You don't want to
Ganito,
self-incriminate unless nga
uh,
the law will protect you. Na you cannot be incriminated by your evidence because it will solve another case.
I know, medyo legalities na yan. I don't know how to answer it. Pero let me answer it this way, no? When my brother died of COVID-19, I felt guilty for it, no? And I guess yung sabi ng mga ibang friends ko, it's natural. You're gonna blame yourself for the death of somebody close to you because you're in the back of your mind, you're thinking, what else could I have done
Right.
to prevent it, diba?
Uh-huh.
Eto, we just saw her closest friends basically saying na they don't know what happened, na kaligtaan nila si Christine, ganun-ganon. And yet, they're saying na baby sister nila to. There is, parang pinapalabas nila that they did everything, no? Except, bantayan si Christine.
Mhm.
Except, do something when Christine said that she might have been given a laced drink,
Mhm.
di ba? Except bring her to the infirmary of the
Right.
hotel when she didn't stop vomiting.
Mhm.
Oh.
But assuming that
So,
that assuming
oh,
that the reality is, assuming that the truth is, she did say that somebody gave her a lace drink. We don't know. That could just be an alibi because they don't want to disclose that they were just doing drugs,
pwede.
right?
Yeah, pwede.
I mean, I'm just
Mhm.
looking at all angles, ha. Kasi, so that's where I'm at. Eh. For all we know, we're all speculating. But siguro, like for me, the
Mhm.
reason I wanted to do this video also is to kind of hopefully allow people to be more willing to look at all possibilities before placing judgment on anyone. Kasi
Mhm.
I see the mob on both sides, and it's wow, it's scary. If so yung parang if you were there and you really didn't know what was going on, and suddenly shit, people are calling for your head and you could go to jail for something you didn't do, that's pretty scary, right?
Yeah.
But
So,
I,
no, I'm thinking of it this way. What if isa sa mga friends ko tong mga mga pinaghihinalaan, mga iniimbestigahan, what
hmm,
would I have advised them?
yeah, what advice
Now,
would you give them?
I would have advised them to have stock. Hey, balik kayo dun sa presinto with a lawyer, 'di ba? And
Hmm.
give your statement.
Yeah.
Yun. Pwede yun, no? Uh, the worst thing that the worst thing that they did was to disappear for those crucial, I don't know, 48, 72 hours where everybody was,
Yeah.
looking for them.
Yeah.
Yun. And up
Well,
till now, meron pa yata mga 8 na at large na
the ones in the other
hindi
room.
pa nagbibigay.
Yeah.
Yun.
Well, do you really blame them, Paul? Honestly, knowing how the PNP is and how the PNP made those threats, would you really blame them?
Na tatakot sila, baka barilin na lang
Yeah.
sila or
Yep.
plantahan sila. Well, eto
Planta nga, yeah.
they have access to lawyers eh.
But still,
It's not
kaya
like
nga,
it's not like that it's not that like that police cop who just shot down the this old lady and
yeah,
the kid,
yeah.
'di ba? Hindi naman ganun yung nangyayari. They were at the police station to be questioned. No, if they didn't feel comfortable being questioned by the police directly, they could have gotten their lawyers
Yeah. But it's ano
with them
naman,
present
but it is
questioning. So,
reasonable to say naman that we all act differently based on that's a very stressful situation. Your friend just died, and there are a lot of things happening, and then now social media is going crazy, accusing you of possibly
mm,
raping her, and I mean it is a very stressful situation. Would it
yeah,
be at least parang safe to say naman that yeah, we all act differently and maybe they had lapses, but to call them
yeah.
criminals might be a little bit too much at this point.
I call them suspicious for one, but criminals, wala pa tayo dun eh.
Right. Okay. So here, okay.
Uh,
So I want to go to the ano. So we talked about the PNP handling of it. We talked about the friends. Let me ask you, how do you feel naman about Senator Pacquiao making a was it a half a million bounty to
mhm.
find the suspects, the people that are at large, and turn them in? How do you feel about that?
Mm,
Or was it and then another
I
one,
think
another
I think
congressman?
our future presidential candidate should be better advised.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Well,
And yung mga bounty na yan, nobody really checks if they're given eh.
yep. Well, not
Di
only
ba?
yeah, not only that puts at risk those people's lives in danger, and it could possibly even make things worse, and we'll never know the truth.
Yeah. You know,
So
baka yan pa maging reason kung bakit hindi I mean,
yeah,
kunyari, they're innocent and they want to give their statement.
yeah,
Eh, natatakot na sila lumabas. Pwedeng ganun. That could
yeah.
be that.
I would be scared if I were in their shoes. Somebody says
Oh.
there's a bounty on my head. Holy shit! For all I know, I step out, I
Eh,
could be dead.
well,
I
somebody said that they should stop doing that and, siguro mag-agree ako doon, they should stop doing that. But at the same time, maganda rin sana if the suspects or the people of interest, just show up with their
Yeah,
statements.
I think naman the four friends that were with her already made their statements, and they're probably already. That's why the prosecutor dropped the initial parang possibility of arrest kasi nga wala pa naman talagang evidence. They can't even file charges.
So, did I miss that part where they appeared before the prosecutor and gave
I,
their statements?
I don't know. All I'm saying is the prosecution looked at it, and basically there's not enough anything at this point to even have an arrest warrant out. Kumbaga, wala pang
Mm,
charges kasi they're still compiling all the evidence. The thing is, for me, I think what's more peculiar is the people in the other room. We have
mm,
to hear what they have to say, because that will the other half of it was already nagsalita na yung other
oh,
half, regardless of whether it's the
oh,
complete truth. Obviously it's not, kasi if it was the complete truth, it could incriminate people
oh.
beyond just the death, just beyond the death of Christine. There'll be more things implicated eh. But the other half is what happened in the other room, and those people
Yeah,
should really surface. um
yeah. Not. Ang problema dyan is that I predict, no, is that the people will in the other room will be just like these guys, the four who surfaced, and they'll say, na, no, nothing like that happened. There was no drugs. There was no
yeah,
rape. There was nothing, and it'll be their word against another person's word, and wala, parang,
yeah,
'di ba? But however, if nakunan sana ng napuntahan ng scene of the crime operatives yung hotel rooms, no? Early enough. Baka nakakuha sila ng mga baso, di ba?
Yep.
And in one of those glasses, baka merong trace ng drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unfortunate that the PNP doesn't really know how to do an investigation of a crime
Yeah,
scene.
so
Uh,
right now, I'm kind of beside myself kasi sabi ko nga din sa friend ko, sana nga mapakawalan na lang lahat and you know, all of these people go free. Nobody's charged of a crime. And then let's see if later something like this happens again.
right.
And it's actually that person. And this time, baka mas maganda na yung soko natin.
Right. Okay. Okay, so hopefully this serves as a lesson as well, but for the PNP to improve how they handle these cases. What do you have to say about the people that are saying na may mga nakita ko social media saying na why is this case getting a lot of attention, and then there's other cases na porke mahirap lang daw yung namatay, it's not getting the attention. Why do you think this case is getting extra attention compared to other cases of recent violence and death?
Yeah, well, a long time ago, I was a producer of a TV news program, and yung sinasabi nila is that yung personality involved, high profile ba yan? So, high profile. The circumstances of what happened, di ba? Drugs. Tapos, high life. Medyo flashy, interesting sa mga tao.
Yeah.
You'll get eyeballs.
Yes.
No? Pag tinignan mo sa news value yan, syempre, yung taong mas may, will get more attention talaga eh.
Yeah.
Versus a construction worker who got killed.
Yep. Unfortunately, that's just how it is.
That's how it is in the news business. I mean,
Yeah. Even people's interest.
Sabi ko nga doon sa isa, sige, headline natin si construction worker. Let's see how many people will watch it or
Yeah.
care.
Yeah, it's how people are. It's just human behavior. That's all it is. So it's unfortunate for me that I get people that yung mga naniniwala na may conspiracy na hindi, yan lang ginagawa dahil mayayaman yung mga yan, may connection. I'm like, okay, it's just very ignorant, unfortunately. But that's how people are. Here's the last thing I want to ask you. What do you feel about this turning into a political circus with the mom now crying to Duterte and to Sara Duterte, tulungan siya, bigyan ng hustisya yung anak niya sa mga nang gumawa nito sa anak niya. What do you have to say about that?
So they feel kinship towards the president and every other official who came from Mindanao na nandiyan kayo, tulungan niyo naman kami because kami the mother believes that the daughter was drugged and then raped. No, two things na sinabi ni Duterte na kakalabanin niya ang mga kriminal and mga durugista. And here she is. No, she's asking for that campaign promise to be fulfilled in her case.
How do you feel?
Sa akin, okay lang yan.
Okay, how do you feel about then the issue of rape? If it's true that if it's true and proven that the girl was raped, that calling for Duterte to help solve the case of rape when I'm gonna say it, basically he's the one who keeps talking about rape as a joke, that's creating this culture of parang rape is okay.
I think that culture has been around long before he became a president. So I don't think he invented it.
Sure.
That kind of sick kind of sense of humor. I mean, people joke about rape, diba? And it's a bad thing, no? Especially if you do it in public.
Especially if
among friends, no?
you're the president or a public official.
Yeah.
Because I
I
hear
was thinking he'd sort of get used to being a president and be more presidential after, diba? Kaso, just didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. Actually, what I find unfortunate is even women I hear sometimes are saying na, yun na nga parang, no, okay lang yan. It's just a joke. And I'm like, wow, I wouldn't, right now and even when you hear men talk about rape, it's like sometimes I don't know. It's just I think that he is setting a really bad example, especially for the men and women of our country. And unfortunately, what I worry is that it's possible that it is increasing the incidence of rape by that kind of language.
Para it's normalizing rape,
Yeah,
ganun ganon.
yeah. Na parang rape,
Ah,
okay lang, ganon. Especially when he says na, okay lang, pangit naman yan eh, wala namang papatid. Yung mga ganon, like, so it's just kind of like
oo, oo.
unfortunate.
And it's a sick kind of joke, and sometimes I'm known for sick jokes among my closest friends, but I wouldn't say it out in public,
Yeah.
diba?
Yeah, sure. In private, with your closest friends, sometimes you get
So,
really stupid. But to make a public
yeah.
statement, I think people have to be more responsible.
Parang these people know I wouldn't really do it. So they know that's why it's funny, diba?
Yeah. Yep.
Uh,
Great. Okay,
yeah.
Paul, that's it, man. That's it for me. Any last words?
Yeah. Last words. I don't know. I hope the rest of 2021 gets better than this.
Thanks so much,
Thanks for
Paul.
having me at your channel, huh?
Take care, Paul. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Take care too.
All
Bye.
right, ingat. Sige, bye-bye.